years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. But then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking I could change my life. And that's how I could change the world. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand. I'm gonna stand up for joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Love. I am a stand for joy. I am a stand. We are making a new world now. I know we are making a new world now. I can see it. We are making a new world now.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. Every thought becomes a prayer.
Okay, so please enter with me now into prayer as we call upon the divinity that is right here, right now. Mother, Father, Creator, Presence, divine being that is all-knowing, all good, the one power source. We rest easy, knowing that we are enfolded by the love that is God, and it is good. And so we say, thank you for this awareness. Thank you for this environment in which we live, move, and breathe. We go forward carrying all the glory of the kingdom in our hearts, informing our minds, giving us peace. We are grateful. So as we learn to empower ourselves by using the vibration of the word, I invite you all to speak aloud those souls who are weighing heavy on your minds and in your hearts, those souls with which you would like to see surrounded by this glory. I invite you to speak their names aloud now.
Orianne.
Bruce. Justin, Sophie, yes, we see them in all their glory, radiating the light of the divinity that is coming from their hearts, coming from that connection of source that they all inherently have. We see their highest good swirling about them in an endless vision of supply that is theirs for the taking, theirs for reaching out and accepting and saying yes. And so when they cannot say yes for themselves, we say yes for them. We hold this truth, and not just for them, but for ourselves as well. We take this truth into the sacred chamber of our hearts. This truth that is ever present, working at all times for our highest good. We say yes, and so it is. Let's take this energy right into our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right, if you're comfortable doing so, just take in a big, deep breath and releasing it, letting it go as we just stay in this place and enjoy the warmth and the comfort that is the energy of being aware of our presence. And so let's take that into meditation. I invite you just to remove anything distracting from your hands and make sure you're as comfortable as you can be in your seat. Focusing on your inward breath, breathing in the life and the love that is all around you. Letting it inform your heart. Connect with that divinity. And on the out breath, release. Let go all that is not serving you. Breathing in light and love and life and laughter, and exhaling all that is not serving you in this moment. Continuing to focus on your heart center, focusing on your breath, letting that breath fill your heart, as if your heart is doing the breathing, and letting go. Letting be, letting God. We'll continue to do this as we move into our song. You could just let this song wash over you. Or you can keep your eyes at a soft gaze at the lyrics, whatever your choice is.
It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. And I am filled with the Spirit, and it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy, it is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. I breathe in, and I am filled with the Spirit. Oh, it is health to my body, it is peace to my mind. comes a song that was singing all along, that is singing everywhere. It is nearer than the air. It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I feel the love of God surround me. I am touched by amazing grace. And all I ever wanted, and all I ever needed, was already there, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
So continue to focus on your breath, filling up with the life that is all around us, knowing that God is right here, right now. And throughout the day, continually practicing, releasing, letting go, letting everything just settle down and be. It is not good. It is not bad. It just is. And that isness, in that isness, we have our being. And that is the glory that surrounds us in every moment and is waiting to be recognized by the breath. And so it is. Okay, I invite you to open your eyes when you're ready to do so. Is everybody ready for a nap? I think I am. Okay, so our talk title today is May Peace Prevail on Earth. And I stole that directly from the United Nations website because it was International Day of Peace yesterday. And I wasn't really planning on talking a lot, actually, not talking a lot about peace itself, because we all know what peace is. But then I thought, well, let me just look at one little thing. And so I went back and I looked at my talk from Christmas time, because you know at Advent, we always do one Sunday on peace. And Advent, a time of year that allows us the space to prepare our hearts for the coming of the Lord through faith, peace, love, and joy. I just thought that was so appropriate for this. And so last year, the theme for the year was the courage to imagine. Do you remember that? And on this Sunday in Advent last Christmas, I asked if you had the courage to really imagine peace. Because that is what it's going to take to realize it on our planet. We have to be able to have that experience of it for ourselves so that we can imagine it out picturing into our world. And so I asked at the time, what would you like that to look at? What would your life, your world, how would that be different if you allowed for more peace? And are you ready to prepare your heart, that inner sanctum, for peace? Peace is a power. It's already a power and a presence that is of the divine. It's not just some not untangible thing that we're grasping for. It's an actual power that can reside within us when we use it that way. Because it is an aspect of the divine. And when we are balancing our 12 powers, kind of like I talked about last week, there's all these organic processes that happen when we work with our 12 powers. And peace is a direct outpicturing of being in balance with our powers. So in unity, we know our words and deeds are guided by our thoughts. All thoughts. When we're holding on to negative thoughts about someone maybe, we don't show up for that person in the highest and best way that we can show up. We cannot be the best version of ourselves while we are deciding to keep our thoughts to ourselves. I just won't project what I'm thinking. But that doesn't actually, I don't know if you think that works, but it doesn't work. Just there's always a presence or an energy or something about you that maybe that other person's subconscious mind is picking up on too. Our thoughts are alive. And so we could paint a pretty picture on our faces, but our thoughts have real energy that is measurable and is picked up upon the people around us. And those thoughts are still controlling our dialogue, right? We can maybe compartmentalize our thoughts. I know I got real good at that. I don't have to think about this over here. And that's a good practice for denying that something has power over you. But it's always also something that you need to go back at and look at and say, what are you showing me? What is the truth that is buried in this thought that I'm trying to ignore? So there's all kinds of levels and of ways we can look at this when we're talking about the power of our thoughts. But it's just important to realize that our thoughts are alive. Our thoughts are prayers, and those prayers have power. And so be careful what you're thinking, be careful what you're choosing, and don't deny that those thoughts exist if they're unwelcome or negative thoughts. Don't deny they exist. You can deny they have power over you, but we always want to go back and address them and see where the healing is that we would like to take advantage of. It's an opportunity, these negative thoughts. We've got to look at them in a positive light. They are showing us, for our growth. So that's kind of an exciting thing when you flip it like that. Okay, what negative thoughts am I ignoring? What do I get to delve into today? And just make a little practice of that, maybe once a day for 5 minutes. It can't hurt you. I hope. If it does, call me. But you might be thinking, well, my thoughts aren't that big of a deal, right? Nobody knows my thoughts. But A Course in Miracles teaches us that all thoughts have their base in either love or fear. And all thoughts lead to peace or war. So it's really important to pay attention. It's really important to pay attention. So pick any thought that you're having in any given moment and just try and sit with it. See how it feels in your body. See if you can just be with it without judging it. And maybe if you sink into that for a few minutes, you'll just naturally, if you relax enough and just let it be, allow it to show you where it came from. What was its origination story in your consciousness? And that'll point the way for healing for you. So, I don't feel like I have to go on and on about that. We know that we are amplifying, our thoughts are being amplified all the time and affecting race consciousness. And when we're talking about the work that the UN is doing for International Peace Day and every other day, I just feel like it's kind of our duty to just, because we have this knowledge, we're responsible, with what's the saying? The superhero saying? With power comes great responsibility. But that's not just a superhero thing. We are our superheroes, right? Unity is a light for the world. It really is. We go about doing this quiet work that is so powerful, but we actually have to do it. We know that we should be doing it, and we know that, and I say should because we have that resistance with it, right? But we know that the power that we have. And so when we ignore that power, we are not helping out our planet. So there's the guilt for you for today, to kind of, if you're motivated by guilt. That's as bad as it'll get, I think. Let's see what else I have here. Okay, so I was looking at the UN website and a couple of articles that were written about this. Now, the International Day of Peace is observed every year on September 21st, so that was just yesterday. And this originated to renew the world's commitment to seeking peace. Because if we're not always reminded of things, which is I know why you come here on Sundays, you want to be reminded, right? We need that. We're human. We need to be reminded. And it's like, oh yeah, remember when all the the ladies would get up in their swimsuits and they would talk about what they wanted world peace at all the beauty pageants. So we all want world peace. Yes, but it's good to have that reminder. I don't mean to make fun, but I just mean that, that was a popular ideology that didn't necessarily have legs. I think you see more and more. I mean, they did have legs, but I like the direction of growth that it's taking with all the activism for peace. The more and more we have, what was that 15-year-old, 16 now girl in Switzerland who was just changing the planet with her opening up everyone's eyes about, is it Sweden? I thought I read Switzerland. Yeah, the climate change girl, she wants us to panic. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want us to just sit here and think about changing the climate. She wants us to panic. I bring her up because there's a theme every year for International Peace Day, or more commonly it's known as World Peace Day. And that theme is climate action for peace. Climate action for peace. The theme draws attention to the importance of combating climate change as a way to protect and promote peace throughout the world. On the UN.org website, they wrote, climate change causes clear threats to international peace and security. Natural disasters displace 3 times as many people as conflicts. I was really surprised by that. Forcing millions to leave their homes and seek safety elsewhere. The salinization of water and crops is endangering food security, and the impact on public health is escalating. The growing tensions over resources and mass movements of people are affecting every country on every continent. And then CNN reported, as coastal areas and degraded inland areas are becoming uninhabitable, and this is all over the world, millions of people are being forced to seek safety and better lives elsewhere. And that's a quote from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. And he made that statement announcing the theme for this year. So he says, with extreme weather events and disasters becoming more frequent and severe, disputes over dwindling resources risk fueling climate-related conflict. So we're going to be moving from the world and all over the world, everyone having these conflicts about my God is better than your God and this is my holy land, no, it's my holy land, to switching over to these origination stories of conflicts coming from drought and from uninhabitable lands that are increasing. We've always had these conditions. They're just becoming, I think, notably more severe, more serious. So the UN encourages everyone to get involved by doing simple things such as turning off lights and walking somewhere instead of driving. Turning off lights, that's my edge. I have a hard time with that. Chris will tell you that. And then Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez also says it is possible to achieve our goals, but we need decisions, transformational policies to allow us to still live in peace with our own climate. And I like the part of we need decisions, because that is directly taking us right into some Emily Cady writings that we're going to be talking about. So we have talked a lot about affirmations and denials over the years. And Emily Cady talks about it in such a raw way when she's talking about affirmations, that these are decisions. If you ever go on to truthunity.net, and I can never remember his last name because he does a weekly blog on Sunday mornings and he just signs it Mark, so I always have to look up his last name. But if you go to truthunity.net, and you'll see Mark's picture, he's got this bright smiley face and a nice blog. And this is from July, when he was talking about Emily Cady's works and writings, and how she defines affirmation as as something strong and positive, but it's not necessarily a declaration like we'd like to say, we'll claim this for ourselves. She's talking about making a decision, because when you make a decision on something, you're kind of also at that same time making a decision not to do whatever else was put in front of you, right? And so it's a slight shift in thinking and how we usually talk about it. We always want to claim our good and declare truth, yes, but we also, when we're talking about using our prayer work for action, and not just sitting and praying in silence and then getting up thinking we're not affecting anything. In our prayer work, in our affirmative prayer and our affirmations, we want to be speaking about the decisions that we have made. And those decisions, it's not just claiming truth, but it is also at the same time clearing a path for everything else that hasn't worked in that moment or up to that moment, and being really clear, letting everything else fall away, and just being really clear about where we are going. And so when we kind of switching and shifting the paradigm, when we talk about climate change, not just it's not about weather, right? It's about sustainable living. It's about sustainable economics. It's about security. It's about peace. It's about peace, because we cannot have peace on the planet if that bottom layer on the pyramid, where we're Maslow's pyramid, right? We need that bottom layer. We need people fed. We need people to feel safe, right? We need people to have clean water and access to medications. Once we can do that, then we can build peace from there. And so it's just about changing our thinking slightly, right? We're not going to offer peace to someone who can't feed themselves, because that doesn't feel good. You know what that would be like? That would, to me, if someone offered me this great gift, and I'm like, wow, thank you, but are you getting that I have an empty belly, or I don't have a place to sleep? Are you getting that part? Because if you're not getting that and you're offering me this beautiful gift, I don't feel like I'm being heard. And that doesn't feel good. When you have something, when you're crying out and you need to be heard, and you don't feel like that people are listening, people in power are listening, that doesn't feel good. That feels like oppression. And we are the people in power. We are the people who have these tools to make real change. And so that's kind of exciting. It's a big load, but we carry it by living out our lives in unity principles and being aligned with unity principles as much as we can. And I'm not saying unity is the one and only way. I'm saying live from a place that is in your heart. Make decisions from your heart. Because we are privileged in this room to have food, to have medicine, to have safe spaces, right? We are privileged. And so we do get to hold a higher energy and to hold a higher thought because of our privilege. And so the more often we remember to do that, the more often we are being that change for peace. So let me just get into a little bit of Emily Cady here.
Mark Hicks.
I'm sorry?
Mark Hicks.
Mark Hicks. I get confused because we had Mark Hiscooks, right? And so it's my dyslexia. Okay, and Mark says, people who make more declarations than decisions are not prosperous. He says, as leaders, we destroy our prosperity by not making those clear decisions for our own lives. So I think so he says, make no mistake, God is talking to you all the time. So says Emily Cady in her Lessons in Truth essay on affirmations. Emily Cady says, the hunger which we feel is but the prompting of the divine within us. Do you ever feel like there's just that little piece that you don't quite have that last piece of the puzzle? Do you ever get that feeling? She's describing it as hunger. And she brings in the words of Paul, no eye has seen, no ear heard, nor the human heart conceived what God has prepared for those who love him. And in that context, in preparation, I just envision this banquet table all laid out just for you. All the possibilities, all the good, all your gifts are laid out on this banquet table. And you walk up to it, and you know that this is all the demonstrations, all the possible manifestations of the keys to the kingdom as you understand them. It's very personal to you, because when you start partaking of the gifts that are on this banquet table, every moment, from moment to moment to moment, is changing for you, because you are becoming more immersed by nourishing yourself with these delights, with these gifts, with these powers that have always been present, but now you're perceiving them in a whole new light. Which takes us right back to our affirmation, which I cannot remember at the moment. What is our affirmation for the month? Embracing change. It's all about seeing new possibilities for ourselves, right? It doesn't happen to be up on there. That's okay. We'll look it up. It's only the end of the month. We're going to change it to something else. We'll embrace that too, yes. But can you see that banquet? Do you guys raise your hand if you're visual? Like because I'm up here and I get these powerful visual things, and I can describe them to you. But thank you. That doesn't mean that. So just
I can taste it.
You can talk about the power of thought, right? That is Judy, that is the perfect example of how our thoughts are so real that they create these automatic responses, these visceral experiences in our bodies. You know, when you talk about cutting a lemon and you see that the lemon oils kind of spray off of the zest as you cut it, does your mouth start to water when you think about biting into that lemon? That is the power of our thoughts when we can experience something like that. So, anyway, science is catching up to what we already know, that our thoughts are real. And our prayers are very, very powerful. Okay, so let me run through a couple things from Emily Cady. She's talking about making these decisions for affirmations, and she says the first step is recognizing the divine idea. She says we do so by affirming that God is life, love, intelligence, substance, omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence. God is those things. And Mark says, as she reminds us, we all too often do not see the gift that lies before us. So imagine that banquet table. He says, without recognizing the gift, the divine idea is not moved. We must recognize our gifts. Emily Cady writes that every particle of life, love, intelligence, power, or of real substance in the universe is simply a certain degree, or, so to speak, a quantity of God made manifest or visible through form. So all of those gifts that you see laid out on your table, those gifts are God in form. Our divine ideas are God in form. The second step is receiving the divine idea. We do that by affirming that I am a child of God, and every moment His life, love, wisdom, power flow into and through me. I am one with God and am governed by His laws. So when we talk about God in the third person, I have some mixed feelings about that, because it really speaks to an old God that was always a he from my childhood. It's really important that we personalize this. We can't accomplish anything without knowing it personally. So yes, there is that part of God that is not only within us, but is acting for us out here, right? It's coming through us, as us, and outwardly expressing. And so there is that aspect of God that is the universe, that is everywhere present, I'm not saying just principle. God is law, God is principle, but that is a very personal experience when you see that principle working for you and as you and directed by your thoughts. There's such a strong connection that you can have with God by bringing God the Father, right, down from the heavens into your heart, experiencing God as we experience ourselves in meditation, and then letting that flow outwardly and inform your life. So the second step is receiving the divine idea. First step is recognizing the divine idea. Second step is receiving the divine idea and all the gifts. The third step is radiating the divine idea. We do that by affirming that I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. She says, nothing can hurt me or make me sick or afraid, for spirit is God and cannot be hurt or made sick or afraid. I manifest my real self, capital S, through this body now. Again, that is a choice. We've all experienced illness. We all get sick. We all know people who struggle. But that is not the highest truth of what we are. And the highest truth of what we are, the essence of us, cannot be broken, cannot get sick. That is not possible. Imagine God being sick, right? That's ridiculous. And so when we're tapping in and recognizing ourselves as part of that, our minds become clear, our hearts expand, healing in the body happens. It is assured. It has to happen when we recognize our divinity. Has anyone ever had that experience of being just miserable and sick? I know I get these really bad allergies attacks and these upper respiratory things. But when I'm laying there going, and I remember what I am, then I just start breathing into that. And my nasal passages begin to clear immediately. It's an automatic response that the divinity intelligence in every cell of our body has when we put our attention on truth. When we make that decision of, no, I'm not my sickness. I am this effervescent light that is intelligence, that is informing all the cells in my body. I am of that. So Mark says, radiating the divine idea requires courage. We are the arms and hands of God, and without the courage to radiate or let our light shine, the divine idea does not move. We have to give it attention, and we have to move with intention. So after recognition and receiving of the divine idea, we must radiate it outward, becoming an outlet of all there is in God. Emily Cady says, be an outlet of all there is in God. Insofar as it is about moving divine ideas in mind, thinking is finished, complete with radiating. And then he says that brings us to Emily Cady's fourth and final affirmation, which is to rest. Rest upon the divine idea. We do that by affirming that God works in me to will and to do whatsoever he wishes me to do. He cannot fail. Mark says, resting upon the divine idea is trusting that we speak the word, we confidently affirm, but we have nothing to do with the establishing of the words. These are Emily Cady's words. We speak the word, we confidently affirm, but we have nothing to do with the establishing of the words, to bringing it to pass. Nothing. The work is already done. There is nothing to do but rest. Rest in the knowing that God's got your back, that all is well, that peace is a natural outpicturing when we pay attention and balance the energies within ourselves simply by paying attention to our thoughts, by directing our thoughts, directing the flow, acknowledging the negative thoughts by bringing them into the light, bringing those negative thoughts into the process so that we may rest with them as well and watch them dissipate. It's a very powerful thing when you're physically ill to do that, or when your mind is anxious with what your ego self is believing to be true. But remember, no harm can come to us when we remember what we are. The truth of us is impervious to pain, to suffering, to sickness, to error thinking. It's just switching that light back into the now. No matter how bad things might seem in your experience right now, in any given moment, just practice bringing it back to the breath, back to the center, focusing on the truth, the light, the source, the connection you have with divinity, and then asking yourself, how am I now? Because when we are in the midst of this chaos, we don't feel so centered, do we? Just bringing it back to this now moment, letting all of the rest of that go, letting go, letting God, centering ourselves in thought and mind and heart. Breathing into our heart. It's what we do every Sunday. We breathe into our heart, we let it expand, and we can rest. Rest in the knowing that that is the truth of what we are. And it is good. And so it is. And may peace be with you.
If thoughts have power, What could we do if everyone thought the same thing? If thoughts have power, what could we do if all of us share the same dream? Each of us believes in something. We all have a choice. If we choose to stand together, to sing out in one voice, then the sound will rumble, the walls will crumble, a brand new kind of dawn, an awakening. It's not a dream. We know we all are one. Let the world sing, joined in harmony. There's a part that is waiting here for you. Let the world sing the song we came to sing. Together, who knows what we can do? Then our dream of one world, of one life can come true. One dream. Each of us believes in something. We all have a choice. So if we choose to stand together, to sing out in one voice, it's becoming clear. Change is near. We have to take a stand. We can work as one. The time has come. The future's in our hands. Let the world sing, joined in harmony. There's a part that is waiting here for you. Let the world sing the song we came to sing. Together, who knows what we can do? Then our dream of one world, of one life can come true. Let the world sing, join in harmony. There's a thought that is waiting here just for you. Join together now. Sing, sing your song we came to sing. Sing it now. Together, who knows what we can do? Anything, anything could come true. Let the world sing.
Good job. You guys sounded great. I heard you. Okay, we're going to share our gifts with our community. I invite you to take out anything you have brought with you to share your tithes, your love offerings. Hold these gifts that you are sharing with your community lovingly as we say our prayer together. Divine love flowing as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
I did serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe I will receive. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind and just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe I will receive. I will receive. I just have to know. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind. With an open mind. Just a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time now. It serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe. I will receive. I just have to know. And then declare it to be so with an open mind and just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. I do believe. I will receive. I just have to know. And then declare it to be so with an open mind. Just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. I do believe I will receive. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind. Just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. Anything I want, it is mine. Anything I want, it is mine. Perfect health, it is mine. Perfect health, it is mine. Joy and peace, yeah, it is mine. Joy and peace, it is mine. Love, 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 it is mine. Love, 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 it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine.
All right, I invite you one more time to bring your attention up to the gifts that you are given. As we give, so we receive. And so this is for us and as the presence wrapping itself through our experience. We know that it is all good. And so I invite you to repeat our affirmation. My life is enlivened and enriched.
My life is enlivened and enriched
By a new perspective.
by a new perspective.
And so it is.
So it is.